Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks Podcast with your host, Aaron Weinbaum.
Hey kids, and Happy New Year. Welcome to the MMA Fight Picks bonus podcast. I am your host, Aaron Weinbaum. We're just going to pick a few fights real quick for Bellator 237. So if you are live on the YouTube or Periscope, feel free to chime in. If you're listening to me audioly, thank you. Just make sure to subscribe and leave me a nice review wherever you may be. And the reason I didn't pick this fight on last week's recap because, Bellator's marketing engine didn't really pull through. I didn't even know there was a huge fight this weekend. Quinton Rampage Jackson, Fedor Emelianenko. But before that, there's a few other fights I want to get to. Let's get to it. First up, Keita Nakamura versus Lorenz Larkin, taking place in the welterweight division. Of course, I want to tell you that this event is taking place tonight in Japan. Isn't that crazy? Where's the fight? When's the fight? You can find it on DAZN. That's DAZN. That would be 9 o'clock Eastern time. So as far as I know, it is live and it is starting 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central. So thank you, Jamie 8760 and Amazing Will for asking the question. I nearly forgot to answer it. So yes, in Japan, I believe it is. Oh, it's a Bellator debut in Japan, and there's also some Ryzen fights in there as well. So I can't really tell where it's at. I want to say, yeah, it just says it's in Saitama, Japan, but I don't know which venue. Anyway, first up on the card, Keita Nakamura, Lorenz Larkin. Let's not forget Lorenz has fought King Mawal all the way up at 205 pounds. So he is cut all the way down from there to middleweight. Isn't that crazy? But let's take a look at Keita Nakamura's last few fights. He did just recently win Marcos de Souza back in October, which is not very long ago, back at Ryzen 19. Before that, loses to Sultan Aliyev, and that's in the UFC, which is weird. So he got cut after one loss. I guess he had won before that, and he's got losses to Antonio Rocco Martin, Morano. Look, I am super high on Lorenz Larkin. Like, his wins and losses don't really tell at all, although he does have 3 in a row now. Andrei Krishkov, Ion Pasco, Fernando Gonzalez, but he did lose KO, Paul Daly, decision Douglas Lima. So when you get to that top tier, which some people may or may not consider Paul Daly there, it's kind of strange. He doesn't really pull through with those wins, but Nakamura, don't think he's in that top tier. Don't think he's going to pose Lorenz Larkin any real threat, and I think Lorenz Larkin looking to get back up there to a rematch with Douglas Lima, I believe, if he wins this, and it's very, very possible with Rory McDonald out of the picture. All right, this is a catchweight, I believe 163 pounds, if I am not mistaken. Let me make doubly sure here. Well, I did see that. I'm going to check one more time, but it's Michael Venom Page. 173 pounds, yeah. So catchweight, 173 pounds. Michael Venom Page against Shinzo Anzai. Let's say it's Anzai. So, yeah. Let's take a look here at Michael Venom Page. 2 wins in a row right now. Giovanni Malilio. He just fought. I thought he fought very, very recently. Yeah, November 23rd. So good on him for fighting again. Maybe that's why it's short notice. I'm sorry. Maybe that's why it's a catchweight. For that, he beats Richard Keeley. Got knocked out by Douglas Lima, which was his only loss, really. So he has wins over Paul Daly in one of the most boring fights ever. David Rickles, Fernando Gonzalez, dented Evangelista Santos' head in. Now Shinzo Anzai. Let's see here. He just beat Yoshihiro Sato back in Deep 91 Impact in September. He has fought in the UFC. He just lost to Jake Matthews back in June 2018. But before that, he's got a few wins in the UFC. I do remember him leaving the promotion. I think it was a contractual thing, but wins over Luke Jumo and Roger Zapata. This is a little difficult for me because, I think Michael Venom Page is a little bit overrated, but this guy is not a grappler. I don't think he's going to try to grapple with Michael Venom Page, and I see Michael Venom Page winning this fight. Next up, Missouri alumni Michael Chandler versus Sidney Outlaw. Sounds like a name on a pornographic movie, but I don't think it is. Sidney Gun, that's D.A. Gun, Outlaw. Let's take a look at Sidney here. I don't like this fight. I want to tell you why. This guy's coming down from 170 pounds. It is a catch weight at 160 pounds. I don't know why Chandler takes this fight other than he was paid a lot of money because, this isn't at 155 pounds. I don't know if Sidney Outlaw could make 155 pounds. But here we are. This is kind of risky. I mean, let's talk about Michael Chandler first. Just loses his title to Patricio Fieri. I think they're both pitbull. I'm so confused at this point. Brett Primus, he beats him in a rematch. Brennan Gertz, Goto Yamaguchi, and of course, way back that weird leg injury, June 2017, to Primus as well. Now Sidney the Outlaw. Let's take a look here. The only thing I don't like is the weight discrepancy here, and that's nothing on Michael Chandler. I'm a huge fan of his, obviously, but Sidney's last win was a decision to Roger Huerta. He's got wins over Cesar Balamacida. I don't know any of these guys, okay? I'm just going to tell you right now. Don't know one person he's fought except Gregor Gillespie. And that was a split decision loss way back in ROC 55. It's Ring of something. Ring of Combat, yeah. And that's really the only guy I know of that he's fought. I'd like to know what weight he just recently fought at, because it says welterweight. I don't know if that's true. So I'm gonna look that up real quick. Because Huerta's a lightweight fighter, I believe. And if he could just eke out a decision over Huerta, it's kind of interesting. I don't know. So I don't know what the story is. I don't know why this is 160 pounds. I don't know if he last competed at 170 or 155 or what. But, I don't like this fight. I think it's a little risky for Chandler to be taking it. But I think he probably edges him out. But I don't like it. At the same time, I'm going to say that over and over and over again. Fighting at a weight class that doesn't exist, that may or may not have title implications for you, why risk it? But, I'm not a fighter, and I guess that's a decision he had to make. All right, next up, the main event of the evening: Fedor the Emperor Emelianenko versus Quinton Rampage Jackson. Let's take a look, shall we? Fedor just coming off a loss to a title fight with Ryan Bader. I believe that was his last fight. Man, there's a long history of Fedor fighting here. This is crazy. And it was KO. It was right off the bat. Before that, 2 wins in a row. Chael Sonnen, Frank Mir. He out-grappled Chael. I think he was just a little bit bigger and stronger. Nothing on Chael. I love Chael. But it is what it is, and people underestimate Sambo, but it's basically his weight displacement, which is a lot like wrestling, except for, you're not putting anyone on your back and winning that way. He starched, before that he starches Frank Mir, but he gets knocked out by Matt Mitrione in like a Rocky II tied fight moment, like where they both get knocked out and get back to their feet, and that was kind of weird. I want to say win Fabio Maliando, but no, he didn't. That was Russia. You don't fight Fedor in Russia and expect to win. I don't know. And then you got Quinton Rampage Jackson, who weighed in at 265 pounds, but didn't look, as nicely as I can say this, didn't look as fat. Let's take a look here. He just beat Wanderlei Silva. Wanderlei Silva, let's face it, this was in 2018, did not look his best. Now, there's a stat out there about Quinton Rampage Jackson. He has fought every single year, I think. Let's go looking here. So 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is crazy. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So this is every year he has fought since 1999. That's insane. Okay? So we're not talking 10 years. We're talking 20 years. Over 20 years he has kept a streak of fighting at least once per year. I don't know that a lot of people can say that, and that's kind of crazy. But I think, needless to say, I think that we're going to see a more Rampage that is motivated. He looked big at 265, but he didn't look fat like he has been, like Fat Thor, I guess. I'm trying not to seize here, sorry. And then, but you look at his record, so he did get beat by Chael Sonnen, and that concerns me a little bit. I don't think Fedor's going to go there and try to grapple him, but he may. He's got that Sambo background. Loses to Mawal, King Mawal's close fight. Before that, decision to Satoshi Ishii, Fabio. Oh, man. ESB says wow. I don't know why you're saying wow, but thanks, I think. I hope that's good. But Fedor, golly, here's the thing. I think the difference in this is we're going to see a motivated Quinton Rampage Jackson. If he stays patient with him, doesn't try to bum rush him with flurries of punches, I think he might be okay. You know, if you hang back and be patient like Ryan Bader did and counterpunch him and knock him out, you got a shot. You bum rush Fedor, you're probably going to get knocked out. I'm picking Rampage Jackson. I think Rampage Jackson is going to beat Fedor. I don't see it going the distance, but I think he's going to win. But, yeah, that's it. So, like, again, if you want to watch fights, it's DAZN, DAZN. I think you can get a free month if you don't want to pay it or whatever. You can get it anywhere you get digital stuff, you know, Apple TV, Roku, Xbox, PlayStation, all that good stuff. But I'm going to let it go. Thanks for everyone that listened. And till, I guess it'll be next year. No, I think I'll get one in before New Year's Day. It'll be sometime early next week. You Periscope and YouTubers will get it first before anyone. And until next time, though, shalom.
Please remember to support the podcast by visiting the affiliate links on AaronSaysWhat.com.